Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton. And today I am sharing with you some beautiful pop-up cards. And they look complicated. They are actually incredibly simple to make. I cannot stress how easy they are for you to make. So long as you have got a big shot, you can crack these out so quickly. Now I haven't covered the front and backs of mine, but you can see here that they do fold flat, so they will go in a standard A6 card. If you've got a lot of embellishment on them, you might need to pop them in a 5x7 inch card, but that's no real great hardship. So these are exactly the same cards, they're just used with different colorways. So both of these come from the Brights collection designer series paper stack, which is a 12 inch by 12 inch paper stack. Just so much designer series paper in there, and they're all double-sided, the papers. So you get dotty on one side, you get this lovely French script on the other, and then you've got a stripe and a floral, small floral one, like a little Dixie floral. And they come in every colour in the Brights collection. So you get Tangelo Twist, not Tangelo Twist, Bermuda Bay, so Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, Old Olive, Pacific Point, Pumpkin Pie, Real Red, Rich Raspberry and Tangerine Tango. So you get those 4 patterns in every one of those colours, and there's 2 pages of each. So there really is a lot of papers in there. Anyway, I want to show you how to make these cards. I found you get a best end result by using thicker Whisper White cardstock. I think the card stands up better and holds its shape better, but you can use regular Whisper White as well. And then I've just kept the embellishment really simple with these little honeycomb embellishments here that are from the spring summer catalogue at the moment from Stampin' Up. So I'm going to pop these to one side, and we're going to be doing a Melon Mambo one, my favourite colour of all the Brights. So to start off with, you want to make your card base. So for this you do really want thicker Whisper White cardstock, because the card needs more structure, especially as it is like a hanging pop-up. So thicker Whisper White cardstock to 21 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres, score down the middle at 10.5 centimetres. Fold it in half, and then using your bone folder, burnish that fold 2 or 3 times so it's really nice and flat. I've then pre-trimmed a piece of designer series paper to 20.5 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres, and then all you want to do is fold it in half, have the side you're using on the inside, so just fold it in half, gently tease it down, and then just use your bone folder to burnish that again. You then want to put 3 strips of tape, tear and tape. You want one along this edge, so that's the open edge. You want one along the central piece, so where the fold has been made. Flip it over, and then one strip along that second open edge. Now when you're putting this together, you don't want to be pushing this right into the very centre. It needs to be in the centre, but you need to take care. So you're going to work with the side that has only got the one piece of tape on first, and remove the backing for the adhesive. Butt this up only as far as that crease. Don't be tempted to get it up further. Make sure you've got a slight white border top and bottom, and then what you're going to do is, whilst still holding on to that piece of designer series paper, you're going to close this down from the crease and push forward. Alright, and that will ensure that that is in the right place. And you're going to repeat that procedure, but this time you're going to remove the tape, covering for the tape, off of both strips on this side. There we go. And then again, have the crease so it's away from you, press from the centre, push forward. And then you should have a card that opens only as far as a right angle. Alright, and that will give you a much better finished result. That can go to one side, and your next job is going to be the actual die cutting. So you just want a strip of thicker Whisper white cardstock that's 10 centimetres deep, and then this is all going to go through the Big Shot. Now, because my Big Shot has seen better days, it's all got a bit loose, I'm having to use some shims now, and a shim can just very easily be from cardstock, using a couple of layers of cardstock. I happened to purchase the boutique, you know, the Texture Boutique, so I've actually got these ready-made shims here, so that's what I'm using at the moment, but 2 sheets of cardstock would do just fine. So ideally you want the magnetic platform. It is worth it. If you're putting in a big order, you could even get it free or even at half price, depending on the size of your order. So do think about it. It is a worthwhile investment. If you haven't got a big magnetic platform, then use your multi-purpose platform on tab 2. So in other words, no open tabs. You then put down your first acrylic cutting plate. You then put down your cardstock face up. Next you put your die so the cutting blades are face down. And just do that roughly in the middle, just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. And then your second cutting plate goes on. If, like me, your Big Shot has seen better days, then pop a couple of shims in and start. Oh, he's going to pull the shims through, not the cardstock. Look, I've probably got a cutting. Yeah, that's it. I've got a cutting plate showing, peeking out there. So you can see this is a bit more pressure, and normally mine is, you know, really loose. So there we go, and I'll go backwards and forwards. Just very carefully remove your cutting plate, and if you're using shims, your shims, and very carefully slide the die off and look at it upside down to make sure that you have actually got all of the cutting images out. This is a crease line, so don't panic about that. Those are supposed to be crease lines. Alright, you can now put your Big Shot away and take your die off. Give it a bit of a bang to get rid of any pieces of cardstock in there. Oh dear, can you hear my puppy whinging and whining? He can hear me talking and he's saying, "Mum, Mum, please let me in." If I let him in, he's just going to be all over the shop, so we won't do that. If you wanted to, you could keep the letters and use them for a different project. Right, you've got a little bit of scoring. Make sure all of the die cuts are out, so just take any out that, any little bits that haven't popped out of their own accord. So you've got little flourishes and that sort of thing. Just tapping it will loosen them up and they'll easily come out, generally of their own accord. I think that's all of it. Little one there. Those are all out, so let's get rid of that. Right, now you want a pair of paper shears, and can you see this line here? You're just going to cut very carefully so you don't actually cut this main image. So you're just cutting so that comes away. Okay, leave this piece. Same on this side. So cut to there, rotate it round and cut to that crease line. That bit will fall off and that bit will fall off. So you're left with a piece of cardstock that looks like this. So you've got 2 wide tabs. Let's just even that off a little bit. I do like things to be aesthetic. Right, so you've got 2 tabs here. Actually, this one could do with being made a little bit narrower. And this is just, it's just a little bit more aesthetic. And the same on this side. Get it right in that corner there. Okay, so you've got 2 ends like this. So your first job is to fold those score lines and burnish them. So one at that end and then one at this end. And if they overlap, you just want to cut a bit off each side. Trust me, this is much easier than fiddling around doing it other ways. I have played around. I did do it the way it says in the instructions and I just found that this way worked better. The last thing you want to do is measure and mark the centre between these 2 points. So this should be 10 centimetres. Yeah. So these score lines are 10 centimetres apart. So score, just put a very faint score mark at 5 there. And another one at the bottom here. Making sure it's all lined up. Get your ruler. You could do this on your scoring tool, but for getting it all out and putting it away, I found that this worked just as well. And then using your bone folder, you're just going to put a nice score line down through the middle there. And that should be roughly halfway. And then you're going to very gently fold that in half. Okay, and just gently, because you don't want to damage it, just burnish that crease as well. Alright. And can you see that that will make a complete tube? Okay. So the next thing you want is the card that we're going to use to attach. Now I'm doing this in the coordinating same colour, so I'm using Melon Mambo, as you can see there. And that means that this strip here, one, it really allows the colour to come through that die cut, but secondly, because you're using the same colour, it just sort of disappears into the designer series paper. You don't really notice it. So I've trimmed a piece of cardstock to 9.8 centimetres by 10 centimetres, scored it in the middle at 4.7 centimetres, and and then you're left with this here. Okay, should be, I reckon I've done the wrong bit of cardstock there actually, because that's wider. Right, I need to trim a bit off the bottom there. I need to get that back to what I want it to be. I've obviously picked up the wrong bit. I'll just trim it down a bit because it doesn't need to be the full width. So down to 9 centimetres. There we go. And that should be, you see there, it's almost the same size. You don't want it exactly the same, but roughly. And if you turn it over, these two bits should flap over, and that's what you're doing. So you just want them to be roughly in the middle. Just seeing a little bit there that needs to come out. So you want it roughly in the middle. And if you want it up or down a little bit, now is your chance. So get it so it's sitting where you want it to be. So that looks good to me. Turn it over, and then you're going to put a bit of fast fuse on here. You could use tear and tape as well, and it's just on that outside edge. Flip it over and stick it down. And this is really where what I'm doing veers from the instructions on the kit. And then that comes over, and there we are. You have your hanging die cut. Okay. You then want to put a piece of tape on the two edges with the designer series paper. So you want a tape and tear strip here and here. And this is where you just have to pay attention to the detail a little bit. Otherwise you find that you're sticking a die cut panel to a piece of cardstock and not a plain piece of cardstock, or a non-die cut piece of cardstock. So you've got two bits of tape there. Open it up. We've got tape there, tape there, tape there, tape there. All right. And you're going to take off those strips of adhesive. Just take the backing cover off. It wants to play difficult. There you go. And then you bring in your card base and make sure that you've got your sentiment, your die cuts here, and then you're just going to line this up and stick it down. One more piece, just a small piece. Pop that along this edge here. I should have done it before I stuck it down. Remove the backing. Stick that up there. And there you have it. Look, can you see? And that will fold up right flat and ping open. And you really don't notice the cardstock inside. And it is just such a fab way of making the little pop-up that is so quick and simple. This is going to be embellished really, really simply with one of those honeycomb elements. and some are white and some are coloured. So you've got that one there, which looks an awful lot like Lost Lagoon to me. So you've got different colours. That's another one the same colour, and then you've got that one which is Blushing Bride, and then there should be some white ones, and these white ones you can actually use a mix of ink and rubbing alcohol, 50-50 solution, and use a Stampin spritzer, and you can colour these. But actually I want this white to show up on this card, so I'm going to use the white to take off one edge, and if you pop it over that crease there, it will help, that join there, it will help to disguise that even better. Although personally I don't think people are going to notice it anyway. And then bring this down, and just with your fingers and your bone folder, just to make sure it's fully stuck down. These remind me of Christmas decorations from when I was a girl and everything was paper. You didn't get anything other than paper decorations, apart from your tree ornaments obviously. And there is your card, as simple as that. You also get one, it comes as a 2-pack, the dies, I'll show you quickly. And you also get a happy birthday, so you get a cake with candles on the top, and the sentiment says happy birthday, and that's really neat and cool as well. So I will be doing one of these later on as well, a little bit further in the next few weeks. So there you are, your first go at a pop-up card using the new Party Pop-Ups dies. And I think that any little girl or little boy would be thrilled to have one of these cards. Look, I'm just changing the colour scheme, just mixes it all up, and I think they're fab. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I love yakking away, but then I can yak away for England anyway. And remember, please leave your comments in the comment section under today's video, or via my blog at www.stampingatthewarren.blogspot.co.uk. In the show more section, there's all the details on how to order through my Demonstrator website, and all my social media accounts, so you can choose to follow me in whichever way you wish, whether it be Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all sorts, as we have to be these days, very social media aware. So I look forward to seeing you, speaking to you again tomorrow, and for now I'll say ta-ta.